Welcome to today's episode of CLCI Live, brought to you by the award-winning and ICF accredited school, Certified Life Coach Institute. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode.
Today, we'll be speaking about blossoming as a coach. As the seasons are changing, tomorrow is fall, a whole slew of different plants will be blossoming. So we want to make sure that you guys are blossoming with them. So more specifically, we will be talking about confidence as a coach, using confidence to build how you are as a coach, and just in general, building confidence for you as a person, because we're all better with confidence, right? Confidence typically means you're performing better, and it typically means you're in a space where you're happy and enjoying what you're doing. So that being said, we should probably open up the conversation I'll ask everyone, what do you guys believe is one of the key players into building confidence or establishing confidence?
Can I ask a question before we go there?
Yes, you can.
That's the on the nose topic, but where do you guys lack confidence?
Where do we lack confidence? That's a hard-hitting question.
I thought I would just take it there right away.
Yeah.
I'm real. Where do you guys?
I mean, it depends on how we define confidence. If we're defining confidence as the grit and resilience to push through things, that I think is going to be a different answer than where we lack confidence. Like I could say I lack confidence with technology.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lack confidence in the technology, or do you lack confidence in your ability to use the technology?
So as a basic idea of technology, I got, right? I can do a lot of basic things, but to get into the nitty-gritty, like we have all just changed our phone system for the business, and that technology has been kicking me in the butt because I'd like to know what I'm doing to navigate, and then the learning piece is, if you will, the center part or the lack of confidence.
Let's see it. So the definition of confidence. Merriam-Webster is who I go to. She's my source. Well, my source. They, as a whole, always for my definitions.
Let's go, y'all. Just say y'all.
Y'all. A feeling of consciousness of one's powers or reliance on one's circumstances. Faith or belief that one will act right, proper, or effectively. The quality of being certain. And a communication and confidence, which that's not very helpful there on that one. But I have this one more definition for you guys. One more. I think this one might nail it on the head a little bit. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities.
Yep.
So,
I think in general, a lack of confidence probably stems from a lack of maybe experience and whatever, kind of like Lisa was mentioning, an overall gist of experience with whatever it is that you are lacking confidence in. And that can be a bit debilitating considering you don't know exactly which direction to take that first step in. You're not 100% sure on which, our last live stream, we kind of spoke about it. If it wasn't the last, it was a couple of weeks ago where we spoke to someone who left a comment mentioning that they were just unsure of how to get started, how to get going with coaching. And taking that first step, I think, is probably the hardest. But having taken that first step is usually when you can start snowballing, whether it's in the right direction or not. What is the right direction? What is the wrong direction? We're not sure. I think, again, it's just important to take that first step to get going.
You have to have confidence to take that first step. And really quick before we go there.
I don't know about that.
Really, exactly. That was exactly. So before we go there though, Lisa did bring up a good point though, in that confidence is multi-layered, just like trust, like in many other things. It's not always about us. It's that we can lack confidence in others, in things, in situations, in any number of elements that can come into play and circumstances that can arise that can make us feel a loss or a gain in confidence. And it's not strictly about us when it comes to that either. I mean, I guess it is because it's what we're feeling.
I would say, if you consider the variables and you feel like you don't have the confidence to overcome those may be internal still at that point. That lack of confidence.
I agree with kind of that. I was thinking my lack of confidence comes from when I don't get a good night's sleep or I don't have the appropriate amount of energy or food. You know, my mental state is totally veered, and so my confidence is veered because of those variables that could be outside: sleep, food, energy, all of that.
Also, if we're going into a situation, let's say, where in the past, maybe something it's always gone one way, where we have this expectation sort of thing, where okay, every time I cross the street, for some reason, a bird poops on my shoulder. This is just how it is in my life. This isn't a real circumstance, but I might lack confidence in the fact that won't happen, right? Like I don't believe that a bird's not going to do that today, because in my experience, it's happened that way every time. So like circumstantial confidence can happen. And it's sort of outside of, when it comes to things that are outside of my control, I would think to some degree there is that. I mean, how we react to it is always up to us, but we can lack confidence in a situation, a company. We can lack confidence in a group of human beings, I would say. Like, they'll never do that. Have you seen them? That's lacking confidence, is it not? So I think it's a multi-tiered thing, but definitely personal confidence is something I think everybody struggles with.
I think this might be a good space to maybe speak about in general. Ways to boost confidence, because Kyle mentioned, if he doesn't get enough sleep, he's lacking confidence. You mentioned, Brooke, if a bird poops on your shoulder, you're probably going to lack some confidence because of your appearance.
I never even brought up my appearance. Now you're just assuming things.
Okay, my bad. I didn't mean to assume, but I can say me reflecting. I'm reflecting off of what you said, and I definitely would lack some confidence. I've had some bird poop chilling on my shoulder right before I go into it.
It's a sign of good luck. Maybe it's something I'm looking for.
Well,
it's really good conditioner for your hair.
I'm out there just like I'm under some birds.
Oh my goodness. I've actually had that happen, honestly. Down at the beach with the seagulls. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. They'll get you there. Well, with that being said, are there any ways, any tangible ways that we can kind of utilize to boost our confidence, just to keep it consistent throughout,
Did anybody share what they're lacking in confidence about? I mean, Lisa did, but Kyle, Jerome, I'm still curious about that.
Kyle did too.
What was Kyle, when do you lack? Well, he said not when, but what, is there any particular situation that you lack confidence in? And I ask this because I think it'll help connect with people. I think people will be like, hey,
sure.
I have the same thing going on.
I absolutely feel that when I'm out of my comfort zone, that's a huge confidence, or when I'm out of my lack of confidence, because everything's new to me, new people, new conversations. Who knows where the conversation may go, be steered in which direction. And so because I'm not confident in where the circumstances that are around me, my comfort zone, everything is a little different. So that's I'd say where my confidence lacks, is out of my comfort zones.
I don't know that I would say I lack confidence necessarily in like public spaces or anything like that, but I will say when things get technical, like one thing, for instance, I know this came up earlier today with us, you and I, Brooke, SEO, search engine optimization, is not something I can even think about trying to dig into. It's a scary realm. It's very technical. And I definitely don't want to mess anything up with SEO. So that's definitely something where I can just off the top of my head, as it's been something that recently came up where confidence is lacking there.
So, and I'll share one of mine in a moment. I have an argument with it with confidence. That confidence is typically a lack of knowledge. I've always said that's what it is. It's just a lack of information, and it's once we have that information or experience, we gain confidence. But what would you do in the realm of SEO? What would you do in the realm of technology and in the realm of new situations to boost your confidence, tangibly speaking?
Practice, that's huge, right? But even the practice part is like, am I doing this right? It'd be nice to really have someone to kind of not necessarily hold your hand, but just to confirm whether or not things are being done properly. And again, that goes with anything technical, because there's so many different ways that you could kind of veer off the course that you should be staying on, where, can sometimes mess things up.
Well, he said mess things up, and that's what made me that my bing, 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 ding, 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 alarm went off. Can you mess things up?
Yes, I think you can. Absolutely, yes.
Well, mostly you can mess things up, but there's usually a solution to get through it. It's that solution and that spider web concept that we're nervous about that we can't get out of, I would imagine. Is that right, Jerome? Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well,
I know when we did back in the day, we were working on our Google campaign, and Google had us do something, make a change back in 2018. And they convinced me that it was not going to affect anything, and it did. Like what I should have done, I learned what I should have done is made a carbon copy of what we had, and then a carbon copy. You know what that is, right?
Yep. Copies are always great when you're shifting gears. So.
And then so that I would shift gears, do the experiment, and then I could go back to the way it was. So that's what I typically learn when I'm working towards, especially technology. If I can save the history of it to experiment with the newness, then I'm still uncomfortable. I'm still not happy, but I persevere because I know I can get out of it.
Technology, I think, is a thing that a lot of people lack confidence in. Like, a lot of people are scared in that realm for so many reasons. For the fact that they don't know so much about it, right? It comes in and we use it, but there's so much we don't know about how it's made, how it's created, how it's built, how it runs, how it functions. And because of that, we feel like we are lost in that realm a bit a lot of times, and also at the reliance on others and their abilities, because we don't have that knowledge. I think completely understandable space to feel lack confidence in. And sometimes, I mean, I guess I will delve into those realms, like sort of, and read and learn as much as I can. And really my only confidence in those moments is a confidence that I know I have the I guess, I will figure this out if it kills me. And then once I do, I feel better. So it just, sometimes it's really frustrating on the way.
That's a good point to bring up. Yeah.
Turn it into the coaching world. Where do you think some of our students feel a lacking of confidence when you've heard them?
Oh, well.
I think it's the getting started part. Not knowing, again, where to take that first step.
One of the biggest ones too that we get is the well, will anybody think I'm a fraud? Will anybody think that I don't?
Yes.
I I mean, really, people, when I put this out there and I say I'm a life coach, are people going to make fun of me? Are people going to, and there's all this sort of this fear around that comes up. Just do it.
Yep, we talk about that imposter syndrome in class, and even after going through the course, I think we all still have it somewhat in some light sometimes.
Totally natural, like totally.
Yeah, exactly.
I was talking to somebody about that today, about how our life experiences, especially in certain situations that maybe we've been the way we were raised, or maybe we've been in a situation where somebody has told us one thing about ourselves for so long that we've come to believe it. Like, we can't do that because I've been told I suck at it my whole life, and I've told myself as much. And I challenge anybody who does that to just try it, because you probably don't. Really, I think that I firmly believe anybody can do anything. It's just about taking the time to sit down and learn to do it.
Yeah, that patience, and having people around you be patient as well. Think about starting a new job. I mean, coaching for some people definitely is a new job, but any new job. When do you feel confident at a new job? It's usually a couple weeks in. You start to even go, oh, okay, I'm starting to get this kind of, I'm starting to get the flow. I'm starting to get, right. And then 3 months in, you're feeling much more confident. 6 months in is usually when a lot of mistakes are made. 6 to 9 months, lots of mistakes are made, because now you're getting a little ahead of yourself in some senses, experimenting more. You're feeling more confident. And then, so think that in the coaching world, when you just get started in the coaching world, so that's where all of us will continue to say, practice, practice, practice. Whenever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're with. Go ahead, Brooke.
I'm thinking, as you're sharing, I'm thinking there's an element of us being very critical with ourselves. We are our own worst critic, and we tend to be far more hard on ourselves than we need to be when when we would with somebody else, probably give them a great deal more empathy than we give ourselves in any given situation. And I think that measuring stick, that we put on ourselves is often prevents us from doing a lot of things. Whereas if we just cut ourselves a break once in a while, like much like we do with others, and say we take the beat as coaches to be understanding of our clients, to be understanding of what they're going through, and to be empathetic to them. How do you turn that table and be empathetic to yourself so that you're willing to take the risks and get out there and do? Just like your clients, you're coaching them through things they are lacking in confidence in so that they can turn the table on yourself and do what you need to do to be empathetic and allow yourself to take that risk, whatever that may be. So
also something that sticks with me that you mentioned, Brooke, is ultimately no one really cares as much as you think that they do, which can really help and benefit you when you're trying to get past a certain situation. You feel like you're maybe afraid to make a mistake. Mistake to you, its level of, what do I want to say? Its level of, I guess, danger of occurring, or maybe the level of destruction that it could potentially cause. It's probably not as high to whoever you may be involved with in whatever it is that you're doing, as it is to you, which is nice about.
We're not flying planes, we're not performing brain surgery, or you're not holding somebody's heart in our hand.
But if you are, please don't just take that first step. Please definitely get your license and go out there and make sure you're doing it.
But because of that, like, there's this fear, and even in business, there's this fear that, oh my God, I could do something wrong and it's going to follow me for the rest of my life, and I'm going to be cursed and I'm never going to be able to get past it. And so I'm not going to take this step. But there's really, truly nothing with regard. You can rebound. You can always rebound. You can always adjust. You can always pivot. And there's no such thing as a failure. It's an accelerated learning opportunity is what it is. So that's how we learn. So it's meant to be. You're meant to fail. Get out there and fail. It won't. It's the only way you'll learn something.
Which in return will boost your confidence.
Yep.
Boom.
I think we got away from it a little bit. I do want to revisit. I want to speak about maybe some intangible, something that you can do that is tangible to boost your confidence. Like, for example, I think with Kyle, again, mentioning maybe he wakes up tired. If you're consistently maybe waking up tired, one thing to combat that, well, obviously getting more sleep, but potentially maybe getting out and exercising that can, boost to the level of energy that you have throughout the day, which I think is something tangible that you can do to maybe, prior to taking that first step that might be scaring you so much, you get a confidence boost in exercising, and then you get ready and you hop into whatever that task is that might be kind of scary to you, which again I think can help a lot. And then for Brooks, getting pooped on, as far as appearance is concerned, if you're walking into a task where maybe it's a public appearance and you want to look your best, put on your power, whatever it is, your power outfit, wear whatever you feel most comfortable in, and that you're looking good in, and put that on and get out there with it. And
I wish it was like, but half the battle with me is like, I'm going to put on, I'm going to feel great. And then the day comes and I don't have enough time and I'm running around and I'm frazzled. And then I'm like, okay, I just have to roll as I am. It's fine. Like, I think honestly, and that's doing the do will give you more confidence. I think also sometimes getting through, the knowledge that you have gotten through something similar before, or that you've gotten through something worse before, can actually give you some confidence. Like, okay, I may not know how to do this, but I have been through some hell in my day and I made it through that. I can get through this. And sometimes that sort of like check in with myself is very beneficial. Affirmations, oddly enough, they work great. They really do. I love it. I love a good affirmation and sort of that psych up moment before you have to do anything that's you're really nervous about. You got this.
Is it better to get an affirmation from someone else that helps with it, or more yourself?
Well, I was thinking my own, like, I'm in a mirror doing my own affirmations kind of thing. My dad started me doing affirmations when I was younger. I think I was probably like 12 or 13. And he was like, do this, go look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself. And he would have me do it. And it's silly at first, but it for sure built self-esteem. Like you do. I mean, you can't, it's that you're tricking the mind, fake it till you make it kind of thing. So much of my early career was built around saying yes and figuring it out. And the confidence in there came in my ability to figure it out, not in my ability to do what the do was. It was just that I said yes, and I knew I would, come hell or high water, I'd figure out a way. And I think that is where so much of my confidence came from, especially early on in my career, because I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, at 20 years old, and I'm being put in charge of people. I'm like, okay, I can do it. You figure it out, right? So.
For me to go through that phase of figuring it out, even though I feel the lack of confidence, is usually talking about it. Once I talk it through, and I have to have a person there. I mean, I do writing as well, but really what takes it to the next level is being able to bounce it off someone else. Even if they don't say anything, just being able to say it out loud. Yeah.
It's so critical. Like, and that's at having a plan, right? Because if we go into it with a plan, even if it goes right, left, south, or otherwise, the benefit of the plan is that at least there's something to return to. Like, you've got like a foundation where and you can plan for the worst and plan for the best, and none of it may happen, but you've at least gone through enough of the process that you can start to visualize yourself doing it, and that will often get you to the do, right? Sometimes too, it's finding the right team.
Yes. That's exactly, that's what I wanted to mention. I mean, for the most part, we try and surround ourselves with people who are kind to us, right? Unless that's not your style. But I think for the most part, people want to be around people that are enjoyable to be around, that prop them up. Kind of, again, what Lisa was speaking about, that external validation can do great wonders, because sometimes we get so stuck in our own heads that we start believing things that aren't necessarily true. So when we hear something in opposition to what we believe from somebody else that cares about us, then that is kind of the bridge that we can start crossing to work our way into understanding and believing what they did say about us is in opposition to what we believe, and really builds that confidence.
Well, and I'm going to take that one step further and say, Jerome, you and I have really created a business that a big foundation of our business is it says your team in our logo. And why does it say that? And it says that because a lot of people, especially people who are starting businesses, who are business owners, they just want to know that they've got one, they can bounce ideas off somebody. They've got people who have been through it before that they can talk to. And it's so critical. So many of those things are critical. It's just having that realm of, okay, I got people I can talk this through with before I take the next step. And that is so critical. And I think as coaches, in many ways, that is what we do. We may not offer expertise, but we offer a space for them to talk it through.
Well, and the same thing with Certified Life Coach Institute. We have that phoenix as our logo because why? Because it can go through anything and come out the other side. And that support system is going to be really beneficial along the way. So absolutely.
And that's that's community support. I mean, that's part of the grit, resilience. I mean, that's one of the most integral parts of being somebody who is resilient or capable of rebounding, is that you have a support system in that process. People who don't have a support system, tried, true, proven to do exponentially not as well in situations that they have to get through. But that's bringing it down. Let's talk about being confident.
I do believe, though, that even when you support and you are the one that is validating others or providing affirmation for others, you build your own confidence because you're helping them. You're seeing that they're happy, that they're gaining their own confidence, which almost in return provides value to yourself and boosts your own confidence. Because like you said, you're building that community, that village, and you're all getting closer and stronger by supporting each other.
Yeah. There is as with everything, a two sided of the coin, kind of double-edged sword there too sometimes, though, because I know there are sometimes people pleasing people who will feel drained at the end of the day because they feel like they have been helping others and they don't take the time to help themselves. And so it's important to remember in that piece that you got to nurture yourself too. You got to take care of this one and then take care of everybody else, or everybody take care of one another. Well, that's teamwork. I always try to drill that. I wish I could draw this picture of a team that I see in my head. Anyways, because it's all about how we as a team can be confident to move forward. We can be awesome. Well, if everybody's there and they're functioning and they're at their best, they're awesome. But not everybody's always at their best, and sometimes one of us falls back in the line. But the cool thing is when you're not alone and you have a team with you, they're there to help you out and bring you back up to the line of people and get you back up on that status. And then when you fall, so you don't have to worry about getting as far behind because you've got other people to carry you with you. Yeah.
I like what Yvette kind of mentioned here. She did say, as coaches, I think it's important to trust in one's abilities, skills, knowledge, and experiences. We improve confidence the more we do what we do. And I think kind of to dovetail this back into coaching and confidence, are there anything that we can kind of prepare ourselves to be a good coach coming out of the gate? Anything you guys can think of that would be probably a good idea to get done before we actually begin coaching others?
Go to a school, get certified. I'm sorry. Whether you come to our certification, as we are an amazing process, is to go and learn what the difference is between hanging a shingle and what it really means to be an accredited certified coach. Mm-hmm.
Or you can just go out there and just pretend you know what you're doing and ruin people's lives. I'm just kidding.
I'm not saying that coaches who do that are ruining lives necessarily, but there's definitely what life coaching is, and I think what is often confused in this space is that it's a very specific thing. It's not something that people just go out, mind you, we say this because we subscribe to ICF's model of life coaching. It's not. There's no big decree in the world apart from ICF's big decree, and they are the foremost governing body of what coaching is. So that's where it gets a little confusing for people, I think. But what we teach and what life coaching is in the eyes of ICF and anybody who subscribes to it, which is there's a lot of folks that do. It's a very particular thing. It follows very particular rules, and that's one of the reasons on our website it says you get community. Confidence, it's on there. I can't remember what the third thing is. Oh, and credentials. Because that confidence piece is huge for people. A lot of our students coming in are lacking that confidence to actually take that next step and start the business. And when they leave with their certification, they feel like, okay, I can do this. I got the confidence. And so that's the training piece, that knowledge, having the knowledge, having that education, and also the support, I think, is critical there as well.
Yeah.
So when people graduate from our course, I mean, everybody's gung ho. There are folks who then lose confidence on the way, right? What is it that causes that? And is there a solution?
I would say that, yeah, the Zoom rooms after, graduation are buzzing. Everyone's ready and confident in that moment. And over time, it's only natural to lose some of that buzz and kind of maybe revert into a space of not, lacking confidence.
Because or jumping it back into their original pattern versus the new is a little uphill pattern and a little, and if they go, I'm tired. Oh, it was a great class, amazing class, which they all do. But then they take a rest on Monday and they go, oh, I'm just so not feeling it today. It's kind of like how we do exercise, right? And before you know it, it's months and months and months down the path and we haven't done our exercise or we haven't done our building our business. The idea of you just are now a certified coach and that's the end of it, that now everything in the law of attraction is going to come to you and going to know how to find you. And perhaps that's happened, but not in a normal phase.
Business goes. You have to go through business. Business does not come to you.
You got to take your steps. Monday morning, if you go through a weekend class, Monday morning you got to do something. Tuesday, you got to do something.
Now, I'm putting myself out there, and I am getting no's. I'm getting like, no after. I mean, like nobody is. is it ever gonna how I mean that's I'm gonna lose some confidence there, right? Like it's just like if you're an actor, and if you're an actor, you got to get used to hearing no, like you just do. But how do you battle that? Like, because after a while, it's going to start to mess with your psyche. Like, people don't believe I can do this. I'm not getting clients. I'm going to quit. So, what do you say to those folks?
Well, I want to hear what they're saying. What are they saying out there? How are they sharing their new business venture? How are they promoting themselves? How are they speaking? What terminology are they using? Who are they targeting? What is the our avatar, we call that avatar? What is the person who is an avatar? How
it also, I mean, there's so many things, and then the expectation too. It's expectation. I mean, and well, let's say expectation, but adjusting that and knowing that these things take time. And also, I big part of that too, though, is building up the thick skin to some degree. Is how do you turn that no into something, instead of it defeating you, into something that propels you forward, that makes you go, okay, I got a no here, but that's fine. I'm going to go out and get 10 more no's. Eventually I'm going to get a yes. And so like, it's sort of adjusting the mindset, I think, and using the no as a motivator rather than a defeater, which you can do. I mean, it's something I've done. I was in a horrible relationship with somebody that always cut me down. And with each one, I was like, I'll prove you wrong. You want to see? And I was like, I'm going to get more awesome. I'm going to keep getting more awesome. And I mean, but in that process of getting more awesome, I was like, I don't want anything to do with you because I'm awesome.
Well, there you go.
You can apply the same thing to your business. It's, with each no, figure out how you can get more awesome.
I think touching base with reality is important too. It's quite literally impossible to get a yes every time you reach out for a potential client.
That's that expectation.
Yeah. So for you to understand that helps. And again, kind of what, sorry, go ahead.
No isn't always a no either. A lot of times you are just getting on their radar. Sometimes it's you're planting a seed. Sometimes you go in expecting the no, but know that maybe down the road that's going to be a yes, or maybe they're going to talk to somebody. That's that expectation. What are you going? Are you attached to the outcome or the process, or in the process, really? Right?
Yeah, I would say no is a level of interest. I mean, at least you're in front of them and they've responded to you. Not responding is, I would say there's no faith there at all.
I hate that's the worst. Like, I will take any kind of insult. I'll take anything over like this stonewall nothing, because then it's like I exist.
But even with that non-response, maybe they're thinking about it and they just have, they usually their thought process and jumping into something takes a little bit longer than what you would expect. That could potentially be something.
I can handle the no's, but I can't handle the silence, man.
So this is going to sound like I'm taking it off, but I'm not. So when I've gone into a bank, when I was back in California and I was doing something, the bank had the audacity to ask me why I was doing that. And I'm like, well, it's none of your business. But that's kind of part of sales, right? Part of sales of what you do. Share with me, what's your no about? What's preventing you from doing it? So being able to even get a definition of what the no's about.
You can find, oh my God, I think there is a tremendous, like I just recently told one of our clients, I said, she's in a program. I said, what I want you to do in the program is not ask them about the successes or when it's worked. Ask them about every time it hasn't worked. Ask them about every time it's failed, because you're going to get so much more information from learning that other side of things than you are from hearing about the yeses, because the yeses is like, oh, everything went, but when you find out why something didn't work or find out why that no happened, that's how you find out how to improve whatever it is you're doing. So if there was a way to track people down and get those no's and be like, hey, why did you reject me?
Maybe not so creepy.
I would learn so many things. You have to be willing to handle it. One of the I'm in a course right now, and the last module was about, I keep bringing this up, but it was so cool, and it was actually very a lot of affirming in the way that I approach marketing is asking yourself what job your client has to do. So like whatever you're doing, if you are helping them do a job, And that's what you're selling them. Your service is helping them do the job. So what is the job that they're doing? How do they do it? Why do they do it? What is the way that they do it? And then you figure out in asking that question, how to best deliver your product to that person. This is important because you can find out so many things about the competition that they go with that isn't you. The reason that they go with other people will inform so many things about the way you should structure your business and your coaching business. That's why looking at your competition is very critical, because it will just help you see what they're doing right in this space, and then you make it even better and optimize it and bring it, just pull it out until you have the perfect thing for the perfect person. Then it'll blow everybody else out the water, because it's made for them. It's tailor-made to them. So
Yep.
There's no competition there, right?
I think that's a pretty decent confidence booster, is to, if you don't know where to go, you don't know what steps to take, do some research on some successful competitors, and maybe not even really think about them as competitors, because I think all believe that there is enough abundance out there for all of us. So if they've got a business model that seems like it could work for you, implement it. Obviously, don't completely copy them, but go ahead and twist it, make it your own, and see if that works. If you feel like you're stuck, utilizing what's out there and remixing that, I think that's called art. So
it's innovation. That's innovation. The first wheel did not look like the wheel on our cars. I mean, it's changed. This is what happens. It's a natural progression of a business.
I think also part of that lack of confidence is the trust that somebody isn't going to try and scam you. So when you go out there and reach for help, people are afraid of who's going to come back at them. So do the research there too.
Well, that's a confidence in other people as well. And I think there's also a lack of confidence in that the piece of we sort of mentioned is, am I doing this in the right place? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my resources? Am I wasting because the reality is resources are finite. We have a limited amount of time in our lives. We have a limited amount of money, a limited amount of times we can tap into certain things, and knowing that, and especially the older you get, you realize, okay, I want to use these resources in smart places. And so you can get very particular, but then I think there's a trap there, and that's the everything's got to be perfect trap, which can stop us in our tracks, dead in our tracks.
Yeah, we've tried a lot of things that have been very imperfect.
Start before you're ready.
Yeah.
Just don't crash into plans.
Let's bring this into the coaching session, can we? So if I'm a coach and I'm in my coaching session, one of the things I hear our new coaches say is, well, I'm worried I won't ask the right questions. I'm worried I won't know the right thing to ask. What do you say to them to help for their confidence, those folk?
I would say not to completely go off the rails with this piece of advice, but they don't know what the right question is either. If you do feel like you're going in a direction where you're kind of stuck, also don't be afraid to ask them for maybe a second to pause and gather your thoughts and move in the right direction, because ultimately they're there for your assistance. And if you want to optimize that by taking a break, I don't see any harm in that at all. They
don't know what you're going to say next. They have no clue. There's not a script. They don't know what the right or wrong question is. Nobody does. There's no such thing. It's so just as long as you're there and listening and present and engaged, there's no such thing as a wrong question.
And following what they're saying. I mean, if they're talking about bunny rabbits and you take it off to bobcats, that's going to be,
Well, bobcats and bunny rabbits, they start with bees, Lisa.
That's about it, right?
And they're animals and they have fur.
I just want to say the caveat here is to not ask questions that could be detrimental to the coaching session, like a why question. That's something.
You're scaring them. You're scaring them.
Yeah, you want to adhere still to the coaching.
You can ask a why question though, and you'll still be okay. If it happens and you ask why, you can rebound and recover. I promise. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but the better why question to ask, if you're gonna ask one, is what is your why versus why did you do something?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the attaching the relevance, but I mean, I just think in that space of that that fear, especially when you're starting out. I mean, first session, everybody's probably terrified. I was terrified.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still terrified. Are you
Sure.
kidding?
First session, I don't even remember. The clients had to ask me for the appointment. I didn't even remember to invite them to come back.
There's so, oh gosh, so many things. Like the first time I did my recording for an ICF, when I forgot, I didn't keep time, and I was like, I really hope I got it. And I don't know if I did. I don't know. But the great thing too, though, about that process is you're getting criticism. So I'm being told what isn't working, when I do things right, when I do things wrong. I know that going in, and when I submit it to my mentor, that I'm gonna get some criticism back. I'm expecting it. So it doesn't stop me. Like I know that going in, and okay, it's a chance for me to learn and get better and improve, and so that then I have something that is submittable. So again, there's no such thing as right or wrong. It's just a learning opportunity, and there's always a way to fix it. And if not, you can just cut and run.
Gotta go.
What you do is you go into asking them again, what is their takeaway? What works in that scenario? What doesn't work in that scenario? It's not about having to do the tap dance. Just keep it simple, guys. Just keep it simple. You don't have to have the perfect question. You don't have to have the perfect anything. Just sit back, relax, have a good time, and get over that first coaching client hump, and then get going on your coaching and then marketing as well.
If all else fails, just repeat back to them what they just said to you.
And they call it the get out of jail card. Get out of jail card every
Tell me
time.
more about that. We all need to tell me more shirts. We just do. So we talked about things we are lacking confidence in. Can I ask each of you guys what you guys have the utmost confidence in yourselves or others or whatever? Where do you have an abundance of confidence?
You're gonna ask us to talk good about ourselves.
Well, you can talk about good or somebody else, or maybe it's anything. I'm not saying giving you specifics.
I think I'm pretty confident in my ability to adapt. And I mean that really specifically with different crowds, different people. And I think that's a good skill to have, considering the fact that if you can adapt well to a different group, that can open up a lot of doors for you that may not otherwise be open for those who struggle in that space.
Kyle?
Anybody else?
Kyle?
It's tough. It's tough to talk what I'm feel so confident about. I mean, for me, I just feel like being personable with somebody and trying to relate and have a conversation with them. I don't know where their side or perspective is, but being able to listen to them and talk with them and being personal, I think that's something that I think my soft skills, and I think soft skills, as general as they may be, helps me be more confident.
Yeah, I think we're talking about emotional intelligence, and so I feel pretty confident with my ability with coaching, along with my family, my friends. I'm not saying I don't mess up, absolutely, but absolutely, do I have confidence in myself with those skill sets? Yes. Technology, maybe not so much. More than some, less than others.
Yeah. The older I get, the more and more I realize I don't have it down pat like I used to back in the day.
Oh,
Cambria, a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Sometimes ask me, and she calls me Mimi. Mimi, do you know everything? And I went, oh my gosh, no, I don't. I go, do you know everything? She goes, yes, I do.
Love it.
There's that confidence that we need.
There's that confidence.
That's it right there. Well, that is what again, I always bring this quote up. It's Aristotle. The more you know, the more you realize you do not know. And that's just true. It's the scope of the thing that happens too.
You look out in the sky in a bright area and you can look out and see things. You go into a really dark area where you can actually see the sky and the stars. It's just daunting at the impression.
Oh, terrifying. I'm going to hide under a desk. Thank you.
Yeah. the Milky Way, etc., etc., etc. Yes.
It's beautiful. It's in many ways, but it's definitely daunting for sure. And humbling, we'll say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't give you guys my lacking in confidence or my self-confidence. So neener.
I was not gonna let you get away with that. I was gonna ask. Or say it's your turn, Brooke.
With my self-confidence?
Self-confidence, yeah. I think we should end on a positive note.
I don't lack confidence anywhere.
No.
I am a narcissist. Where do I feel confident? I feel confident in my ability to. I think I mentioned figure things out. To figure it out. I'm quite good at sort of. I guess I have a gift of staying a step ahead almost, but it's sort of being able to figure the process out and then maneuver in it and sort of be able to adapt. So it's like being fluid, like and being able to like go and sort of, it doesn't always work, but it's definitely something that the other end of that like being able to predict and make a choice and say, okay, this is the way we should go. And I'm confident in it. The other very critical part of that is that I'm also confident that if it goes horribly awry, I can find a way out. Like I will be able to build or manage a plan that, okay, we're going to adjust and we're going to pivot left. The left is the pivot, but if let's say this is the wrong prediction, my secondary level of confidence comes in that I will be so determined and hell bent on getting us out of whatever situation I've gotten us in that we'll be okay. And I think that secondary confidence might be more important than the first one.
You have to add food, water, sleep, exercise, like Kyle was saying earlier.
So it's resilience. That's what I have. I have confidence in my grit, and just being determined. I'm a very determined individual.
I have a question. So, does confidence ever be detrimental by having too much confidence, being overconfident?
Boy, howdy. There's a bias. There's a study I can say it's a bias that every human being has in that we as people when we have not experienced something or done something, we have a tendency to always assume it's easier to do than it actually is. And so a lot of times we will be like, oh, I could do that. That's no big deal. I could do that. And we also, the secondary bias we have as human beings is that not only are we overconfident, we also forget how difficult things were and truly were and how it felt to be in that moment. So we are less empathetic for people who are like going through things we've been through and in that struggle than we would be. And we're also like really good at like being like, oh yeah, I could do that. No problem. So like what that does is get us into situations where we're like, oh crap, I'm over my head. I've done a lot of like I didn't expect this. I had no concept or understanding of how difficult this was going to be. And now I'm in it and I got to get my way through it. But we're learning in that process though. So, I mean, is it a bad thing? Not necessarily, because you're in it. At least you took that overconfidence and you need to take the first step. Even if you're like, oh God, what did I do?
I have an example of that actually. Speaking about maybe forgetting about how hard it used to be. I remember in college, I hopped in a intramural game where actually I was there to watch and my team was getting blown out. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to hop in. I'm going to save the day. And I got a glove. I went out to the outfield and I had balls coming at my face. And in about 2 minutes, I was like, sorry, my bad. I did not mean to say anything bad about you guys. I'm out of here. You guys can resume doing whatever you're doing because I'm done. I played T-ball way back when. And yeah, much different now with adults swinging the bat at you.
But yeah, so that's, I mean, but is it a bad thing? I mean, I don't know. Good and bad is relative, and that's when I get all philosophical.
It's good to be mindful of your confidence, though, and to not overshoot something, but at the same time realize, hey, I might not be confident in this area. How can I increase my confidence? Finding that thin line.
One of the sexiest qualities in a human being is the ability to be humble, and the ability to say, hey, I may not know. I don't have all that knowledge there. I mean, there's just something, I have so much more respect for a human being that's willing to admit weakness and willing to admit that they fallibility, or they may not know, and that they'll come back to me, figure it out, or what have you. Then somebody who's like, yeah, I can do everything, I got it, like that, go away. I want nothing to do with you. Like, you're gross.
It's not believable, is it?
It's not. It's like you are clearly either. It would just, yeah. I would rather have somebody who's just like honest and willing to say, hey, I'm not the best at this, or I'm not. That humble is. There's just nothing better in a human being. I think it's quiet confidence, or just humble. The humble lion. Essentially, because it's always nobody has to, the one who's really got like it all together and kicks ass. He doesn't have to tell everybody he kicks ass. He just does. Like, a lion doesn't have to tell you it's a lion. It just is. And the moment I hear somebody with bravado and over the top confidence and all that, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, it's just kind of all false and facados, and yeah.
It's silly. I'm like, you're so cute. Oh.
I want to touch in on Miranda's comment before we get out of here. She said, yes, find confidence in your gift, all caps, to coach, pro tip. And I think that's something to keep in mind. If you're in that space of wanting to coach, then you probably have the gift of wanting to help others. And that truly is a gift. Not everyone has the energy or the want to actually go out and help people change their lives. So if you have that within you, that is a gift. Remember that gift and utilize that when you are getting ready to get off the ground as a coach. That's something that no one can take away from you. So.
I think that everybody can have that in them, though. And I think that it comes from people who have been helped themselves. And I think that when we're somebody who has been through something and we've had somebody help us, we want to pay it forward. And that's sort of, it's a snowball kind of thing. So
I think it continues healing as well, to be able to do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All
Definitely.
right.
Yeah.
With you on that one.
Yeah.
On that note, who wants to sign off? I'm lacking in confidence of being able to do it.
Thanks for watching us, Certified Life Coach Institute. We certify you in 3 or 6 days, depending on if you do level 1 or level 1 and 2.
We really can
join us, have fun with us. Learning is fun and intensive, but it's fun.
Comment, share, subscribe, whichever platform you're on. Do all 3, and be sure to catch us here next week at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
And before we turn off anything, please, what we should have a thing. There it is. See, 4 p.m. Look at that, a visual. Before we sign off entirely, if you're watching this, leave a comment and tell us what you want us to talk about. If it's anything relating to coaching, any coaching questions you have, any questions you have about coaching, the coaching world, people who coach, coaches you like, you dislike, things about coaching you do or do not know, leave it in the comments and we will address it at some point.
Yep. I think the reason we did this stream today was because of one of our previous streams. Someone mentioned confidence in coaching. So wanted to tap into that and share with you guys what we thought about it. And we love to do it again. So go ahead and, like Brooke mentioned, comment down below what you guys would like to see in the future.
Kyle, can you sign us off officially?
I don't have the confidence and don't know how to, Brooke. Would you please show me how? I'd like to learn.
I think we took everything from him. It might be difficult now.
Oh my gosh, you guys are by Certified Life Coach Institute. We love you.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Once again, this is brought to you by Certified Life Coach Institute. We're an ICF accredited school who certifies our life coaches in 3-day online intensive courses. In addition to other podcast episodes, feel free to check us out every Tuesday at 4:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube or Facebook for our CLCI Lives, where we get together and discuss various topics that are centered around sharpening your skills so you can become a better certified life coach. For more information, feel free to visit us at certifiedlifecoachinstitute.com. Until next time, be well.